Olivia Salazar-Winspear. Hello, Olivia. Now, you've been chatting with author Diaman Barr about his memoir and his childhood tales of none other than Margaret Thatcher.
Yes, Diaman Barr was here in the studio to talk about his new book, which is Maggie Me. Now, that Maggie, of course, being Margaret Thatcher. It's a memoir of his childhood and adolescence, which he plots against the career of the first female Prime Minister of the UK. And he tells us a little bit about what she represented to him as a little boy, and, of course, for the people of the fiercely left-wing Strathclyde region in Scotland, where he grew up. So let's hear from him.
She affected every aspect of our daily lives. She was in every newspaper, she was on every television programme, and she became not just a political figure but a cultural figure. And growing up, my parents hated her, my neighbours hated her, everybody in the village that I grew up in despised this woman who they saw as being the source of all evil. You know, she was seeking to close down the steelworks, the coal mines, all the heavy industry that, you know, we depended on. So she really was this kind of figure that loomed larger than life.
And so, of course, after that, we went on to discuss the rise of the left in Scotland, the political context of the post-Thatcher years, the Scottish National Party, all leading up to, of course, this vote in September on independence, which Scots will be taking part in. But it's not all political. It's a very personal story as well. The book deals with growing up in a mixed family, Protestant and Catholic, the fragmentation of that family eventually in his adolescence, and coming to terms with his sexuality as a young person, and his lifelong love affair with books. His own book was published in the US, Canada and the UK, and it's now been optioned for a BBC series, which he'll be co-writing.
OK, now let's move on to a French living contemporary artist who's managed to get himself into the Pantheon here in Paris. How did he manage that?
Well, like you suggest, it's a tricky feat getting into the Pantheon because, just to explain, it's a beautiful monument that looks like a church, but it's actually a mausoleum. So technically you have to be dead to get inside. It's the resting place for the great men to whom their homeland is grateful. That's what's written above the door, people like Victor Hugo and Voltaire. Artist and photographer J.R., he managed to sneak inside with his black and white blown up photographs. Now, they're part of the Inside Out project, which gives people the chance to come and get themselves photographed and then see themselves immortalised outside large monuments, great buildings, or even in this case, inside the Pantheon, which is, like you say, very rare. So let's hear about the project from him.
Because you may be one of tomorrow's great men, so I'm going to let you all in the Pantheon so people can have their picture taken through our truck or on the web, and that way we've opened up to everyone.
Now, this project will be rolled out across other French cities as well, Carcassonne, Reims, La Rochelle. So there'll be a whole cast of inside-out civilians, if you like, with their pictures emblazoned across these buildings. So perhaps you can go and check out to see if you see any familiar faces.
I definitely like the sound of that. All right, now to finish up with, you've got some news from Tinseltown, a little gossip from the Star Wars camp.
Yes, well, shooting started on the next instalment of the Star Wars franchise. Now we're on to episode 7, of course, after all the prequels. They've announced 2 new recruits to what is already a very starry cast. We've got Lupita Nyong'o, the actress fresh from her Oscar win for supporting actress for 12 Years a Slave. We've also got Gwendoline Christie. She's the actress.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, indeed. And I was just about to say that shows how important that series is becoming for flagging up movie talent. They'll be joining the Star Wars veterans, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and some other newcomers in the form of Adam Driver and Domhnall Gleeson. As well as this info on the casting, TMZ, celebrity website par excellence, has got some photographic evidence of the shoot. They must have a mole in Abu Dhabi somewhere because that's where it's being shot at the moment. We've got some weird and wonderful structures and this incredible monster, creature, that makes you think of Jabba the Hutt. All the props and the whimsical stuff that go up to make the Star Wars galaxy. And you can see from these pictures that director J.J. Abrams has taken quite a traditional approach to filming this one because he's using props, costumes, location shooting, as opposed to the CGI and the green screen technology that they exploited a lot in previous films.
How many of them have you seen?
I have just seen one, shamefully.
I haven't seen any.
And to see that one, we're going to have to wait ages, December 2015.
Well, maybe between now and then I've got time to see all the other ones then.
Definitely time to catch up.
Thank you very much, Olivia. That's it for culture. It's time now for our sports roundup, including some football. First, though,